Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Shadow and Sun. Today, we're doing 7 more tips for beginner miniature painters and crafters. And now that that extremely dumb intro is out of the way, that's what we're doing.
Hi everybody. Yes, tonight we're doing 7 more tips. Actually, my cards are out of order. No, they're not. Okay. Wait, yeah, they are. How'd that happen?
Because you did it
Gosh,
incorrectly.
we're not prepared tonight, are we? Anyways,
We spent 10 minutes.
We have a previous video that has 7 early tips, you know, some of your basic stuff. These are a little bit more advanced, but still
not really.
Still more for your beginning painters and miniature crafters and, you know, dioramists, however you say that, arts and craft projects, anything. These all will, you know, hopefully help you out. Number 1, rocks, twigs, and sand. Instead of going out and buying certain kinds of, you know, craft sand and pre-made trees and things like that, we always get our rocks, our sand, and our twigs. We find them wherever we can. We go out on hikes and bike rides and pick up our own stuff. And occasionally while we're doing it, we'll find something, you know, an old piece of plastic or an old piece of metal that once cleaned up we'll add to a miniature base or a diorama or maybe a gribbly bit to a miniature or something like that. Just keep your eyes open, find them where you can, especially other things like bark and twigs. Even leaves. We're going to be using some old leaves for a project.
Well, not really
next
a project. It's not really
Well, not really a project, but in addition to
Is
project.
it part of the package from Spain?
Yes, it is. Yes, it
Is
is.
it
Another
also
hint
from
for you
Spain?
guys paying attention. Yes.
Package from Spain.
Yes.
It does have a lot to do with the leaves. Do we actually use real leaves?
Yes.
Oh, wow, that's interesting. I
Yeah.
forgot about that part.
Yes. So keep your eyes on the ground. You never know what you might find. Save your stuff and, you know, save yourself a buck.
Also,
On to number 2.
something that is actually quite similar in certain situations, when you pick something up, you save it in a thing that is often referred to as a bits box. In fact...
You take one handle, I'll take the other. No. Okay, you want to take that part over?
Okay. The entire thing?
Yeah, bring it up. This is literally only part of our bits box. Our bits box is actually affectionately called my garage. But this is our gribbly bits. Take that over to the side. Let the camera
Which is
get
basically a term for stuff you put on a mechanical thing to make it look mechanical.
As you can see, there's all kinds of random pieces of what's commonly referred to as junk. But believe
I
it or
don't
not,
think a bat is considered a gribbly bit.
no, but that's mostly our plastic bits. But every single thing in there, we could probably tell you exactly what we're going to use it for, and if not, we're saving it for, you know, some other project in the future. Get a nice good look, and then we'll come up here. This little box is specifically arms and legs and heads of miniatures that had extra bits, so we save those.
There's also gems and whatever this is from.
Here we have a box of exclusively wooden bits.
And
Here we have a box of all of our electronic editions, and you may even see a sneak preview of one of our future videos. Then over
we
here,
also have the flowers.
you want to save all this stuff. You know,
Either our first or second ever craft.
I think it was our second, the biodomes.
And here are some of the things we use for the biodomes.
This
as
is
well.
more plastic, but mostly lids. All useful for, you know, for example, this could be a very large miniature base. I got this tip from Dave over at Miniature Mashup. We've got ping pong balls. We save the packages of blister packs for paint mixing, or if we wanted to, you know, add a gribbly bit to a starship or a box, something like that. Another part of the...
These, which we have used on multiple miniature bases.
Yes, you cut those out in a circle or a square and put it underneath the miniature.
Do you actually know where you got them from?
Yeah, from some food product. And it looks like an industrial metal floor. But where's your card?
Card.
Your cue cards.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. Oh!
Underneath the box?
Yeah, they're under the box. Anyways, are we moving on from this?
One thing with the bits box, you want to keep it organized. That way you don't dig through it.
Yeah.
Speaking of digging through it,
What? Oh yeah, you go through it often to do things.
yeah, you want to go through your bits box every so often and sort of take a mental inventory of what's in it so that you get new ideas for new crafts, or you'll remember an old idea for a craft you thought of, a year ago, and now you decide, hey, I got some spare time. Why don't I do that? Why don't I do this? Let's get that all cleared away. So keep a bits box, keep it handy, keep it organized, and keep it in the garage. Right?
Yes. That is where we have our thing. Well, technically, as he said, the entire garage could be considered that.
We have a lot of
Stuff.
a huge pile of shame. We have all of our bigger tools, things like that. But your bits box, it'll save you from going out and having to buy a specific thing if you just hang on to stuff for a while. On to tip number 3, which is inks, washes, and contrast paints. Inks. Let's start off with inks. As you've seen in some of our previous videos, we'll use India ink and other, craft store inks.
We also used Vallejo, and we've also used, we used Vallejo from the elemental thing. We've also mainly used Army Painter for washes.
Right. So with the inks, you can pick them up at any craft store, as opposed to going full on into buying like a set of Vallejo inks, which might not be in your budget or not be available in your area. Your regular calligraphy inks will work. You might have to water them down. Just check them out on a piece of paper and see how they flow. See what color they're going to actually be, because when they're in the bottle, they're more concentrated and they may look brighter, but once you put them on a white background, you can realize that it's more of a glaze look than an actual ink, or maybe I need to water it down because it is too strong. With washes, there are a lot of good wash products available, and as opposed to trying to make a wash other than a black wash, which
we have done,
which you will need with terrain, I highly recommend sticking with the good old tried and true Army Painter inks. They make some of the
soft
most
washes.
they make the best, as far as I'm concerned, all things considered, that being price and overall effect. You can't beat their overall value. The way they work is always good. You're never going to be disappointed with them unless you are using maybe their green, which I went through 2 bottles on one miniature to get the right effect.
But I mean, that miniature was...
It was a big
the
miniature.
Hydra, which you would have seen if you watched one of our earlier videos, our first dungeon from Dungeons and Lasers.
Yes.
It's actually been a while.
Which was part 2, actually.
Oh yeah, part 2.
Yeah, of the first time.
Which actually came out first, but...
That was a technical issue. So when you're looking at washes, I would go with Army Painter at $3 a bottle. You're going to save yourself some time and effort, and you'll always get a good look. And on to contrast paints. We have the recipe in several of our videos. I'll try to put the recipe down in the description again for you folks. But with the price of contrast paints being upwards of $10 a bottle, it just doesn't seem affordable to me. I don't know how many in the Citadel, and I don't know if Vallejo makes them, but I think Reaper does, or maybe it's the other way around. But contrast paints, I would make your own. They're really easy to make, and while you may end up spending what seems like a lot of money on the matte medium and the flow aid and the ink all together, by the time you've made, let's say, 4 colors, you will have already saved
and technically
a ton of money.
You can probably mix them as well.
Yeah, you could definitely mix the colors and get your own.
And also, technically, if you want an even cheaper but less effective way, technically, if you want an even cheaper or less effective,
Yeah.
if you want an even cheaper or less effective way to do it, you can technically just add water to paint. It's nowhere near as effective,
Right.
but it has had a similar
That's
effect.
technically usually called a glaze.
A glaze, yeah.
But it still works if you can't get the medium, you can't find the flow aid, and you can't find the ink. But personally, the experiences we've had with making our own contrast paints, just one of our favorite things we've learned this year. Would you say?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, on to number 4.
4. So,
That's you, bud.
yes, it is. You want to watch things to
Videos?
know, yes, videos, because technically, it's not like there's a movie about painting miniatures.
There are DVDs.
Yes, DVDs. I'll start with that, I guess. DVDs, those do exist. Probably quite rare now.
I don't know. I haven't looked for one. I have a couple in my collection, and I'll probably break them out this weekend and take a look at them. But I personally have learned more in the last year from watching professional painters and not so professional painters compared to what I knew in the past, let's call it 40 years.
So yeah, DVDs probably aren't the most effective way to do it. But, I mean, again, it probably isn't the same for every single person, but, I mean, what was it? Oh yeah, just you want to watch things so you know how to do things.
Yes, and definitely, like and subscribe to your favorites, like us, hopefully. I learned everything I know about painting up until this last year from an instruction sheet from an old Heritage paint and play set that had about 6 paragraphs worth of information, and I've been relying on those instructions for most of my painting career. And in the last year alone, I've watched literally hundreds of videos and hundreds of hours of our favorite YouTubers and other social media sites to learn things, and I can't even begin to express how helpful it's been. So watch a lot of videos.
Yes. So moving on to number 5. I said moving on to number 5.
Experiment. Experiment every day. When you're painting, hopefully you're painting every day, even if it's just a little bit, even if it's just clipping and filing off mold lines. I know, but experiment. Always try something new every day. You'll add another tool or part of a tool to your toolbox. It all adds up to experience, which you can't get it without doing it. So whether it's experimenting with mixing colors or trying a new style of paint, a new brand of paint, mixing up your own inks or washes or contrast paints, experiment. Never stop learning. So never stop experimenting.
And moving on to number 6. Finish when you're ready, and don't feel like you have to just rush through things. I'll start with that. I don't have too much experience painting, and the stuff I do have, I was mainly under a time limit, and the other things I painted before then, it was so long ago, I could have not painted, and you're just saying that, and I would have no idea.
You mean the elementals?
Yes, I'm talking about the elementals.
You really painted those, and
When?
Many years ago. When
That explains why I have no recollection of doing so.
you did do it, you did a good job. I guided you through it, but
I have more knowledge of someone walking in a door than repainting those miniatures.
mind you, all you did was the base coats and dry brushing.
True.
We didn't use inks.
True.
We didn't even own any inks back then. I had to mix my own, and it was a little, honestly, it was something I just didn't do enough of, and now I don't finish a miniature without doing an ink. But don't feel like you have to rush through a miniature unless you're on a time limit or you're getting ready for a game. Always feel like you can come back. You will get better with experience and your confidence will grow, and you'll feel like you can actually do those harder details, those tinier little objects on your miniature or your craft. But don't feel like you have to do it now, because it's better to go back to a miniature when your skill level's increased than to have to white it out, start over, or strip the whole miniature because you made a mistake and didn't know about, using a mistake brush or,
Yeah, a good example. I'm not sure if I should bring it up.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Oh, you want to? What is it?
A thing.
Okay. Yes, don't feel like you're under any pressure. You can always go back. And the little guy, he's the king of procrastination. He'll start something, and then, a week or two later, he'll get re-inspired and go back to that same thing. You're the only time constraints you're under is your own. If you feel uninspired, or you just want to move on to another miniature because you got a new miniature, I just did that. I got this really cool headless horseman, and even though I've got 100 miniatures on my desk that need finishing, I'll admit it, my skill level isn't ready for some of them, so I just put them off to the side. I'll come back to them when I'm either inspired or ready to do it. Maybe I don't have the product or the paint color or the type of brush. I need to get some new brushes this month. But here's a good example. I did the base coat on this guy.
You did dry brushing? Actually, no, this isn't dry brushing at all.
No, it's just the orange, our famous orange lava paint.
Famous.
Well, hopefully it'll be famous. But yeah, I painted this over a year ago. I actually painted it twice. I painted it. I didn't like the base coat. I stripped it. I repainted it, tilted up so they can see this bad guy. He is just, I love this miniature. It's one of my favorite demon miniatures of all time. But as you can see, all I did was the base coat.
It doesn't look that bad.
No, I love the color, but I'm going to dry brush it, and I just haven't felt my skill level was ready to do the dry brushing.
I think now we can.
Right. But I've been procrastinating on this for over a year, would you say?
Yeah.
I'm not ready.
I actually don't remember when you painted it.
But, when I'm ready, I'll go to it, and I'll be re-enthused and reinvigorated and confident that my skill level is up to doing it. It has, I want to do it like we did Schmorgenrog, with a lot of dry brushing of black to make it look like the orange lava is underneath the surface of his raised areas, like here on his arms and shoulders. You can see these bumps, and I want them to look like, the floating bits of rock on lava.
And I think we might be ready to do this because if you noticed on our painting the Dragon of Schmorgenrog video, we definitely did do some, we did one thing which was like an accidental thing, I think. I don't remember.
On the wings?
Yeah, the wings. What we did on that, we can technically do a very similar thing on this, and it'll probably turn out pretty good.
So feel confident enough to know your own abilities and your own limitations. And if you got to go back to something, go back to something. Don't feel like you're under any pressure, unless you're getting ready for a game and your buddies are coming over and you need that, painted up encounter of orcs ready for the game. So many people have played with unpainted or half painted miniatures. That'll just be one of those times. It'll have more of an impact when you put a painted miniature on the table and you've got the confidence to go, boom, look what I did. Did I do a good job? And deep down in your heart, you did a good job. Okay? Which will lead us up to tip number 7, which is clear coat. Don't. Unless you're ready and you're a professional painter and you've done the best job you could ever do, you could never improve on it, don't clear coat it.
But you have clear coated some things.
Yes, I have, because I knew no matter what I did, I'm not going to improve on it. It's done. Okay? But if you clear coat a miniature and you're in the beginning stages of painting, and 4 years down the road or a couple of months down the road, you could do it better, going back over that clear coat to try to paint it, it's not going to look right. Trying to take that clear coat off of a miniature and starting from scratch, which I have done, the clear coat itself is harder to remove than 8 layers of paint. It will sit in that cleaning liquid for a year and still not come off. You can throw it in the industrial sonic cleaner and you'll use up...
Which, by the way, we made a video on it, on the sonic cleaner.
Yes,
Do not watch it. It's absolute garbage. All you hear is just a buzzing sound.
You're
And
right.
I filmed it too.
Yeah, it was not one of our best moments. But
Not
take
as
it from
bad
us.
as the Siege of the Citadel video that we made.
That was pretty cringy. So if you think you're done, go ahead and clear code. But if you know you can do better and you want to procrastinate, you want to put it off on the side of your desk and go back to it, it's better than clear coding it and thinking you're done and then looking back a year from now, 2 years from now, 10 years from now, and realizing, oh, I could have done so much better. I guess I'm going to have to buy another copy of this miniature because stripping it, just not going to happen. The varnishes are made with, the intention of protecting your miniature, even from yourself. That stuff doesn't want to come off. It wants to protect the miniature underneath it or whatever project you're working on.
See, I only do it when you're absolutely 100% ready that you can really improve on it.
Absolutely. And, know your limitations. And if you are confident that you cannot do a better job on it, then go ahead.
Also, the Sonic Cleaner doesn't have that much room in it.
You could do 20 miniatures in it.
Yeah, but I mean, for one big miniature.
Oh, yeah.
You can't do that.
No.
You would have to take it apart.
Mm-hmm.
And for example, if you use like the model glue on a miniature,
it's not coming apart.
you're not going to be able to do it. So you might as well just
wait.
What do you mean wait?
Wait until you're ready to clear code.
No, but I mean like if you've done something to it and you can't really remove the paint because you can't put it in the Sonic Cleaner, and you don't want to just put it in the stuff and wait for a few months.
Yeah. Because I have no idea what the...
Like, for example, a dirt car. If you wanted to remove the paint on it, you would have to put it on put it in one of those...
Big jar? No, I think I could actually fit it... Because you might be able to fit it in the Sonic Cleaner and only clean like half of it at a time. It might fit in the bin, and you might be able to fill the liquid up all the way to the top and parts are hanging out. I've had that happen where I only poured a little bit of liquid in because that's all I had, and like a tail was sticking out, and then I'll just flip it over. But save yourself all that trouble, all that time. Paint when you're ready, clear coat when you know you're done. And our last tip, do you remember? This is a bonus tip for you folks. Practice, practice, practice. Every single day, do something. Whether it's painting, clipping, filing, going through your bits box. Even if you only got 5 minutes, do something. But practice, practice, practice. I guess the little guy is a little embarrassed and won't be signing off with us. Oh, he's back. Yeah, he didn't like the idea of the bonus repetitive practice, practice, practice. But that is the biggest, most important tip of all time. Would you say?
Yes. Yes.
Do you even know what I was talking about?
Yes, I did hear it.
Okay.
In fact, yes, I did hear.
You gonna practice tonight?
No.
That's okay. He actually did some work earlier today.
Oh yeah, I did.
You did. You did something. It wasn't
Yes, I did.
painting. It was sculpting.
You could say that. Actually, yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Okay. You did some practicing today. I did some practicing today. I'm gonna say goodnight to you all and go back to my headless horseman. And maybe in a couple of days or so we'll take our hand at this one. What do you say?
Yes, in fact, that is what we might do eventually.
You brought it up. I think we should give it a try.
Yes, we most likely should.
So I hope you guys enjoyed this monotonous video and have a great weekend. We will see you Sunday. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you can, share this video with your friends. You never know. They may, get something out of it. And hope you guys have a great weekend. Merry Christmas and good night.
And that concludes the video that we were going to use when we ran out of ideas.